Coming from the true space, we ain't entertaining neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space.
What's good, y'all? My name's Open Book. It's my partner.
Hey guys, this is Hearth. Welcome back to Truspace.
Yep, and we're breaking down the energy of this full moon in Cancer coming up. So, how do you think this full moon is gonna end up hitting everybody?
So this full moon is gonna be a lot of releasing about emotions and reflecting, really attempting to initiate feelings and emotions to get comfortable and create a home for yourself or whatever area of your life you can experience this full moon area in. So this full moon is gonna either depending if you planted the right seed or the good seed or the negative seed or the positive seed is what you can experience in the full moon. If you planted the right seed when it comes to your business status, public image, and how you want to basically plan out your life for the future, then you could now get emotionally comfortable and kind of nurture yourself for a little bit and not be so uptight about your business and status and things like that. But if you didn't plant the right seed, so you're gonna get highly moody about your emotional state, and I bet this could get you to really get into that cancer mood, a mood where you're reacting to everything, you're snapping at everything because you didn't take care of your business status, the public image that you needed to build in whatever area that you need to plant these seeds in. So this is gonna be definitely nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
but showing you where your weakness is when it comes to the backbone of your business structure, like a great reminder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Whether you got your shit together or not, absolutely, it's definitely that test in Capricorn. How you were describing it reminded me of that how that custom how say like Japanese business people or something like that wouldn't do business with you unless you drank some sake or unless you drank with them or something like that. And that makes sense. And that's the energy. It's funny. Astrologer said alcohol relates to your fourth house. But it makes sense. Which is interesting. But anyways, look at how that plays out with the business people. They want to see you in a vulnerable state to know that you really have the integrity that you're going to uphold what you're going to uphold. So they start to bring out emotion. It can't just be your reputation, what's behind, what's the private life. And if your integrity is right, that what you have built up to that point, then they know that they can trust and do business with you. But if you're afraid, aka you want to dry it up, no, you don't want to get vulnerable, to a degree, it starts you start looking different. It's like what is he hiding? Is there something that will come up, So this is that test. This is the Japanese businessman that's offering you the cup of sake to see how you're gonna react, and if you really have the integrity, like if you're about the business, and you feel that responsibility, that discipline in that weight to a degree where, just like say if you're trying to make a business deal, you would drink, and this was your company and this was your shit, and this deal was about to take you guys off, whether you want to drink or not, you're going to drink, you're going to do what it takes to get the business thing, and that's your it's coming from a real genuine place, if you get what I mean. So that's going to take different shapes and forms within our lives, but it's going to play out as that same energy where a situation is putting us into a vulnerable spot, but how we handle that vulnerability can either turn into a full moon moment, catastrophic, maybe there's a little bit too much resistance in our emotions, and we lash out, I like Dolo talk about cancer. He's like, cancer would give you a Kamehameha wave or some shit like that. That's how it would be. Cancer would not. Cancers are emotional, but Scorpio will hold a grudge for a year or two before they get your ass for it. Cancer, maybe every couple of months they'll have like a breakdown, then it'll just hit you with Hadoukens. But so that's what you're kind of in for. If you're in that full moon moment where it's kind of negative, where just a burst of emotions or catching feelings, in a moment that takes away your stability, that shakes up the structure that you have been trying to be built. But if you planted the right seeds, like what Harold was saying, was really tending to your business, tending to your reputation, tending to your responsibilities and what you're supposed to uphold. When people are looking at your private life, what are they really going to see? What's really going to be taboo? They're going to see how you've done it. That's kind of like you like your story, how you uphold this thing. Because if what you're doing is true, it'll be reflected. Like, say if a guy's a really good businessman or a good thing, if you go back into his home should be organized to a degree. If you get what I mean, or have a similar structure type setting in his home life, and that's how he upholds and maintains it in his public life. You would have to see the seeds in his home that allows for him to be on that top side. Um, so that vulnerability is so essential, and even for business to make that sale, to really handle discipline, we have to be open to that level of vulnerability, and we can only do that when we plant the right seeds in terms of setting the right intentions of how we want to look at structure and discipline in our life within that new moon, and how we can best incorporate those energies into our life and answer that honestly with integrity. If we're getting lost in all this other shit, worldly shit, trying to do all of that, that's when you manifest the full moon moment.
Mhm. And I bet this is gonna be quite healing because cancer deals with the lymphatic and immune system. I could definitely see how it could just heal you and get you rejuvenated for like your 10 house, your business, all these restrictions, those boundaries, and things like that.
Hmm. Look at how your lymphatic system might, clean and flush out your body, making things work more efficiently so nutrients don't have to be taken from your skeletal system. You know what I mean? Where it could help in that way. Once it takes away some of the toxins and helps heal you, you can start focusing. You won't have to dip into your back resources, if you get what I mean. AKA, if you have your emotional world right, 9 times out of 10, your financial world is going to be all right, because there's not the imbalance of emotion to take you away from establishing practicality.
Capricorns are not sensitive to emotions because they hate emotions, but they're sensitive to emotion because they understand
Hmm.
emotion is money, it's the currency. Don't
Exactly.
waste their fucking money.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a cancer in its full power, and that's some dangerous shit. Whereas other ones, and this is what I'm saying with this full moon energy. This is why Harith brought it up. That's how you get the most out of Capricorn. So it's like this ultimate test to see how we handle Capricorn energy, how we handle our status, how we handle our structure, and all of that. And it's by adding that water, adding some emotion. A lot of people, things start to crumble, and the 10th house can also be, look at how, this is definitely fucking like Jewish territory, Saturn type religious, Jewish mysticism type territory, with Capricorn energy in terms of administration, and that's all shadow government type shit. Status, titles. This is how the government works. You get a straw man. And now you're a socialist. Within a structure and shit like that. It's funny. That's how it is. But now adding the emotion to it, now you can't be as dry, in terms of, or they know the value of the emotions in terms of how it can be utilized with their structures, if you get what I mean. When we don't understand, we're just in the emotional responding aspect of it, just where the full moon moment in this case and scenario. But they understand that structure can be brought around that type of stuff. Our emotions can really be filtered um, by our public life, and then look how that really dictates and does that dance with your private life. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's how the full moon is, looking to come and hit us. Pluto's even there, lingering around in the distance. Um, what Mercury's now doing its retrograde in Capricorn. So the type of energy that's going on in Capricorn is pretty intense, where um, status is playing a huge role into things. Uh, where we can get really drawn into a lot of materialistic type of mindsets will quickly make us, you know, neglect other people, following our ambitions, following the practicality, really forgetting about home, really forgetting about comfortability. And like what we were saying, this is a dance between the two. You cannot represent your your home or yourself or your highest self, your highest potential without having uh a stable home. Just like if you have a body filled up with toxins, with your lymphatic system's not working, um, you're gonna get brittle bones, over the course of your life. And then cancer, you get bone cancer or leukemia. It's like the extreme of it. But yeah.
Definitely. There's also the square to Jupiter to Aries, which is obviously
Mm,
forcing us to really go out there and extract knowledge and wisdom on ourselves, which I help is balancing our business and home life, really anchoring us down, making us pay attention to everything just a little bit, putting enough energy into everything.
mm-hmm, for sure. Where it probably kind of brings things into perspective too, where you kind of start to prioritize things better once the squares start coming in, um, and we start doubling up on squares, and you're kind of fixed on all sides. Those are the times of grand crosses. Literally, are a time of great change, especially these squares. Like things really move in your life when you're hit like that, because you're beset on all sides. So it's kind of like you're forced to make the changes. The world is forcing you to kind of accept. You don't really have too much of a choice. You have to abandon this thought. You have to abandon this practice, this way of thinking, this ritual. You can't do this at this time anymore. And now you have this to do at this time. So it really puts you into a new state of being. So this is why we have to be prepared for it, because the energy is pretty intense. We're having squares hitting it. We're having Pluto lingering around. So it's going to be intense. There's going to be a drastic change or attack to your responsibilities and the status and role that you play within the world. But we've been planting seeds since Aries season now, in self development and understanding ourselves more. You know, during how we have been handling this entire season and this entire zodiac whale around. Now it's the time to see how much the individual has been preserved. How much we preserve within our root, how that single point still gets expressed at this point, because it can get lost when you're dealing with 10th house, all these other responsibilities. Your whole individuality really get lost in all of that. But when your individuality is retained, your responsibilities, they're all fine. You wouldn't want to have anyone else's problems but your own, because they're your own, and they're the ones that you call for. Even the bad things, the things that you don't like, you know, you know that's the only problem that you have, and that you know other people be manifesting other problems, and shit like that. Like you can have be addicted to Coca-Cola or something like that, but at least it's not heroin. Someone's out there with those type of perspectives. But yeah, that's how this full moon's gonna hit. Don't run from the vulnerability. Know that vulnerability is only gonna strengthen your position in the world. Is only gonna People are gonna take you more seriously. Jordan Peterson only got more book deals after he started balling on the internet. Only more deals. Did Andrew Tate ever started balling? Only more endorsements, only more followers. You know what I mean? How many grown ass men will have their heart broken if Andrew Tate started shedding tears? They'd probably start crying too. They'd be like, oh, I feel it, Top G. But anyways, um, we can start looking at how this is going to hit everybody in their houses. How do you think this full moon is going to personally hit people who have it going through their first house?
So you guys gonna experience this emotional release where you guys gonna try to get comfortable and nurture the self, your appearance, your body. I bet this is a time where you trying to give more um, more time to yourself and nurture who you are. But that depends if you planted the right seed or not. When it comes to your seventh house, if you planted the right seed, that means you created the right restrictions and boundaries that prevented certain relationships that maybe attack your personality and provoke you from emotionally attack them and things like that. If you planted the right seed, that means you planted the right restrictions and boundaries in your relationships and the people you're connected to. So now you could actually emotionally express yourself and actually show your true self because you actually developed who you are and things like that.
You built a structure where you could be vulnerable because you included, aspect of your individuality. So now it's really that test to see, and then this Capricorn being your seventh house. So to really see how you handle the responsibilities and roles and management of your social life and your partners and relationships, and this is really going to show you where in aspects of your individual self that you have been lacking, and really either this can be a time depending on what seeds you've been planted where you get really wounded, or you get reminded of the wounds to the individual of where it needs nurturing, or you receive that nurturing itself, or it's open now you can be vulnerable with these certain things, and like what Harriet was saying, attach emotion to certain things because that structure has been, and boundaries and restrictions been placed around your relationships and how you interact, so that your emotions don't get treated bad. Your sensitivity can be appreciated.
I bet to the cancer like first house, your physical body could be highly sensitive, highly associated with the lymphatic immune system.
Hmm.
And definitely focus on like stuff like detoxing and controlling your emotional status.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's definitely hitting y'all pretty tough. So um, definitely heed to that sensitivity of the that day and this energy. So yeah, that's how it looked with the first house. The second house, how do you think this full moon is gonna hit people with it here?
So you guys gonna try to get emotionally comfortable and nurture your values, your income, your sense of stability. But that highly depends of whether you guys planted the right seed or not when it comes to your uh, eighth house. So if you guys planted the right seed by creating the right restrictions, boundaries, business ideas, then you guys know how to take advantage of certain maybe vulnerabilities, resources, certain behind the scenes things that no one knows about. So that leads you guys to actually now have time to get emotionally comfortable and nurture yourself with all the wealth you accumulated and the money and the possession that you have. But the negative side, if you didn't plant the right seed, then that would be you basically not having nothing to get emotionally comfortable with, you being basically broke, and now you're getting moody because you didn't get the right restrictions and business. When it comes to eighth house scene, eighth house things, you allowed people to take advantage of you and things like that. That type of energy where you let people take your resources, get into certain business ventures and things like that. And the moon's exalted here, so you're gonna be highly reactive to this energy. So you're gonna be highly careful to what happened here.
To your how you emotionally respond to things. Yeah, absolutely. I could see it playing out where, yeah, you might care a little bit too much about other people's feelings when we're talking about, the eighth house, and really, you know, add so much weight to certain vulnerabilities, and things that you hold be behind the scenes, bringing structure to things that are behind the scenes, that you neglect the actually caring about the physical world. You know what I mean? Where or that Capricorn energy can really pull you away, or even vice versa, where it makes you so sensitive to the physical world and attaching so much emotional to the mundane that you forget to add structure to um, what's behind the scenes and how that comes and entangles with the physical world. But just like what Harith was saying, it's a high, your senses are going to be highly heightened. All five senses and your sensory experience during this full moon. So it could be really easy to get lost in the surface level, and care a little bit too much about the physical, or be a little bit too impulsive with your resources and stuff like that. Um, but it all comes with balancing how you manage what's behind the scenes and your vulnerabilities, so that you can feel stable in certain areas and make the right decisions and feel okay to be emotionally vulnerable, or emotionally respond to the things that you have, and you can feel emotionally respond positively to your self-worth. That's really the whole goal, because once you bring structure and understanding to a degree to your vulnerabilities, you get that you can trust yourself more and the ground you stand on a little bit more. So yeah, that's how the full moon's looking in the second house. In the third house, how do you think it's hitting people here?
So you guys gonna you guys gonna experience this emotional release where you guys have to nurture and try to connect within your immediate surroundings, the people you guys connected to, like your neighbors, brothers, siblings. I could say this is a time where you guys experience more emotional connection within your immediate surrounding, as opposed to being just so logical, so mundane, and like so just regular Gemini energy and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see on the positive side, on the full moon, you could experience a lot of emotional outbursts from different people in your immediate surroundings, since you probably did not plant the right seed when it comes to your nine house, create the right restrictions, boundaries, and take the necessary practical step when it comes to your broad experiences and how do you apply your philosophy and wisdom, which obviously gonna lead into these moments when it comes to your third house, the lack of ability of utilizing these experiences in a practical way, and all these things getting out of control and things like that, since you didn't plant the right seed.
Absolutely. I still see that playing out. Yeah, maybe not adding enough structure and discipline to your higher education, to your higher purpose, to your spirituality during this Capricorn season will lead to a full moon moment where when you do want these things, it feels like your surroundings, you're so emotionally responsible, or so sensitive and catching so much feelings within your surroundings that you might feel suffocated. Like you're not reaching your highest potential, or you're being prevented from following the path due to your surroundings. But it's due to not adding enough structure, or like what Harith was saying, applying your wisdom and knowledge that you have gained through your experiences, or applying discipline to facilitate certain experiences coming about. you know, that's when you'll start getting a little bit emotionally vulnerable in your surroundings. And then now everybody, you know, now the even just the familiar corner store guy pisses you off because you know maybe you have higher ideals or want to be somewhere else, you know, but you don't want to get that frustrated with your surroundings, um, because everything's working inevitably with you to help facilitate that. It's just whether how you deal, especially right now, with contraction and restriction in order to manage that for your growth. So don't let this full moon moment, don't take it too much out on your surroundings. Maybe writing, you know, when you have an emotional outburst, writing it down, speaking to a close friend or to a loved one about certain emotions, someone who's not going to react to that crazy, may really help you weather this full moon out if you planted bad seeds. So that's the third house. What about the fourth house? How do you think it's going to hit people here?
So you guys gonna basically try to emotionally connect with the home, family, more domestic issues and things like that. But how comfortable you guys can get here, how it depend whether you guys planted the right seed when it comes to your 10th house. Because if you guys planted the right seed, you guys actually have the right public image, business venture, status that's actually gonna allow you guys to take care of home, family, domestic issues. And if on the negative side, if you didn't take care of business status, then that will quite make you quite feel vulnerable right now at home and family, because a lot of time it's difficult to deal with work of if family is debilitated, but it's also kind of difficult to deal with a family of work is kind of debilitated too. So if kind of if you those two things prevent each other from moving any further. So I feel in a full moon you will get to see um, how far your home life is from your business life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how well you can handle this reflection of your private life, you know what I mean, when we're you're diving more into your work life with Capricorn, you know, and your role in society and adding more constriction and discipline. But now with the full moon showing that if you didn't plant these honest seeds, you know, for the right responsibilities, you know, so that you can be open to this level of vulnerability, you know, once you start reflecting on your private life, you know, you might start feeling vulnerable or start noticing that your home life is in disarray, and everything there is not, you know, positive, and that you don't feel comfortable, that you're in a state of uncomfort all the time because of that heavy focus, that heavy ambition, you know, to titles and statuses, that you don't feel comfortable with yourself. This full moon can really expose that. The fourth house, your immune coli, is talking about your self image and how you feel about yourself. Um, so this can really the time for attention to go on that, and for self healing to be put in that. How do you feel about yourself, and how can you rectify that? How can you balance how you feel about yourself with your role and position in life? It's an opposition, but opposition is just a sextile that's out of reach. So how can you bring these aspects closer to each other? So that's how I was looking in your fourth house, looking at your fifth house. How do you think it's gonna hit people here?
So you guys gonna experience this emotional release where you guys gonna get comfortable and nurture your self-expression, your creativity, but that's highly gonna depend. Basically, that being able to express yourself creative wise going to depend on what happened in your 11th house, which is where Capricorn is. Did you apply the right restrictions and boundaries? Did you connect with the right people who are actually going to allow you to express yourself, your creativity, allow you to be vulnerable when it comes to these things? uh, but on the negative side, you might have connected with people who's gonna prevent you. Okay, too many restrictions and boundaries when it comes to your relationships, was gonna take you away from what you truly want to emotionally connect to, which is your creativity, your self-expression. was close to you and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can still see like with this energy, maybe you add a little bit too much seriousness to your social life, to your network, you know, to maybe certain social causes and stuff like that. When really the energy was to add more efficiency and practicality to how you do these things. But you could take it a little bit too seriously with not setting the right seeds in Capricorn season, what responsibilities you should uphold. So, you know, when Cancer, see how you feel about, yeah, how you have fun and entertain and all the fifth house stuff. Um, it's hard to have fun, you know, but that's why you associate with friends in the first place, you know. So it's like you adding so much seriousness to networking, to social causes and stuff like that. You can forget about the fun, and you have to heal that aspect of yourself. You forget about the flow with things. You forget about being in the moment. Aquarius can be so, or 11th house can make you focus on the 11th house, can make you so thinking, you know, coming up with new ideas that you really forget to reflect on how you feel in the moment. And that's really letting you know about where you're going. You're trying to head here and push everything forward. But if you're not reflecting in the moment, then you have no idea where you're going, you know? You're not even paying attention to where you are and how it feels now that you've moved. Now you're all the way somewhere else and you realize that you missed a turn or that you have to go back the opposite way. So don't forget about how you feel and about the moment and about having fun. Don't attach too much seriousness to this networking. It's supposed to be about efficiency and practicality. Um, you know, it's supposed to be about those aspects instead of overly seriousness, overly being taking it too serious. So that's the fifth house. What about having the full moon in the sixth house?
You're just gonna initiate feelings and ways of nurturing and connecting when it comes to your work life, when it comes to the way you organize yourself, your health, your fitness. I bet in this full moon, if you planted the right seed when it comes to your 12th house, you took the right business approaches when it comes to your belief system, aka you chose the right belief system and you started to build on that. Now that could actually lead you to allow you to experience some emotional comfortability and nurture yourself when it comes to work, almost like take a break and things like that. But if you did not plant the right seed, that means you didn't take the right business practical approaches when it comes to your dreams and illusions, or you maybe initiated something related to illusion. So now when it comes to your work life, during the full moon, you feel highly moody. You have nothing to feel emotionally connected to, something to feel that could nurture you, something that could make you feel healed and things like that. So that might make you highly nervous, start to do a lot of things. When it comes to the sixth house, have to fulfill all that emotional energy. Even like put maybe your
Yeah,
physical body
absolutely.
on like on a bad note and shit like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. And like with Capricorn, with the sun being in your 12th house, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be, you know, maybe the dream job or you taking actions on all of your dreams, but just having a more practical dream life, a more practical imaginations that you can use and apply within your life to add more stability. You know what it means? To add more imagination, to add more idealistic planning to how you take charge and set pieces within the world can help you feel more comfort when we're emotionally responding to work, to daily routines, to and habits, just like what Harith was saying. For sure. If you been taking it too seriously, you know, certain dreams and illusions and getting lost in the illusions and stuff like that, it could lead to a lot of worrying about practicality, if you get what I mean, with the and instability and feeling comfortable at work, feeling comfortable with your daily routines and habits. It can be really hard to establish that when You're so serious about certain dreams, illusions, or even influences. I can see influences playing a heavy degree in terms of how what responsibilities you do feel, but in your day-to-day routine, you don't feel comfortable. You can't add the right amount of emotions to you don't feel like you're at being of service, and that's how you know you're following the wrong influences, the wrong intuition, the wrong imagination, and you may have stumbled into a delusion or a fantasy situation. But yeah, that's the sixth house. What about the seventh house? How do you think this is gonna hit people here?
So you guys gonna try to emotionally connect and nurture your relationships, the people you're in marriage, and maybe make contracts with, and maybe if you guys planted the right seeds here, I could see how you guys could actually now maybe handle certain emotional expressions that comes to relationships because you guys build the right restrictions and boundaries and the right like a practical attitude about yourself. Like you know how to utilize yourself. So now when it comes to expressing your feelings, when it comes to your relationship, it's almost like it doesn't bother you as much because you know who you are. You have like an armor around yourself.
Control of how you present yourself. Now the relationships that you have, yeah, maybe it's now you can be emotional or more vulnerable because you let them know what it was in the beginning. You let them know what you were going to uphold in the beginning. You had control of how you presented yourself. So yeah, for sure, if you sent the best seeds in the new moon, it'll definitely be easier to handle those contracts. But if you've been planting bad seeds and you haven't been adding, you know, more discipline in how you present yourself, then you can find that your relationships and contracts that you add in is causing all of these emotions that you um, aren't ready for. It can be highly volatile. This is a hard thing to set up because controlling how you present yourself, that's a hard thing. It takes a high level of self knowledge and self awareness and discipline, to really get all of that into order. But the bounty is really having, yeah,
But and actually, like you're saying, bringing those two energy together, Cancer and Libra together, tend to express a cardinal emotion, cardinal air. That actually quite hard.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's initiating conversation about vulnerability. How hard is that, But when there's structure in how you present yourself and there's a reputation and integrity, people will know. So maybe there's a reputation and status that you have utilized. So they're like, okay, I know that this person has done this, that. I'm not gonna poke at this. I'm not gonna poke at that. So you find more opportunities to be vulnerable, and it ends up being better, or you end up getting closer. So that is the seventh house. What about the eighth house? How do you think it'll be hitting people here, the full moon?
So you guys gonna try to now nurture and basically take care of you guys' vulnerabilities, uh, resources, power, uh, uh, deep emotional desires, and things like that. But what you guys gonna experience here then the full moon is gonna be highly dependent on what you guys planted when it comes to your Capricorn second house. Did you guys take the right like capitalistic ideas comes to your resources, your income, and did you guys actually utilize them to actually be experience some form of emotional fulfillment when it comes to your resources so you don't be so emotionally naked? I bet if you did not plant the rice here comes to your second house, that means you did not take any uh, capitalistic approaches to your income. You did not upgrade your money position, which is going to lead you to feel highly vulnerable and highly explosive about your resources, your money, your emotional body, since your everything around you is gonna you don't have anything to be proud about.
Yeah, I get what you mean. When you emotionally start to reflect and feel uncomfortable with your vulnerabilities, because of lack of physical structure, lack of stability within your life, lack of stability in your life will really have you start poking at your deeper emotions. And will really have you questioning yourself. So having the two together really creates a high level of stability, having the earth practicality and feeling about your emotions. But yeah, so I definitely see how that can play out or help out if you've been planting the right seeds in Capricorn season. How now when you can apply a lot of healing to your vulnerabilities and to your sore spots, and you can transmute and transform a lot of those emotions because you brought a little bit more structure and stability to your physical life, so you can stop saying certain things about yourself because you're not in those situations anymore. You know what I mean? You have a little bit more stability, a little bit more leeway, a little bit more ground on your feet, to more self worth, more action, more value, to not have certain emotions, or to the impetus. You know, having a skill or a talent a lot of the times can really break depression or break you out of those low moments, because you can't say that you're bad at this thing. You know, at this one thing. You know, so that is really a lot of the stepping stones to help heal vulnerabilities sometimes. So that's how I look in the eighth house. In the ninth house, how do you think we'll be hitting people here?
You guys have to emotionally connect and nurture your philosophical approach on God, your broad experiences. Uh, but that's gonna highly depend on whether you guys planted the right seed when it comes to your third house. Did you guys take the right practical approach when it comes to controlling your immediate surroundings? AKA, did you guys prevent people from wasting your time? Or did you guys know how to use the people within your immediate surroundings uh, to actually lead to something? So that would lead you to guys experience the full moon in the in the ninth house, where you guys gonna either be emotionally comfortable with your knowledge and wisdom, or emotionally moody about your knowledge and wisdom, aka you don't feel confident with your broad experience that you developed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, with the new moon happening in your third house, you know, your surroundings, your immediate surroundings in your early childhood, we don't really realize how much these things are stepping stones. Your mindsets, you establishing certain mindsets, having certain thoughts predate you fulfilling that experience that reflects those thoughts, or leads to certain experiences, because first you had the thought, or first you developed the mindset. So with the new moon, setting the right intentions of bringing structure to your surroundings, utilizing your surroundings, utilizing mindsets. um, when you're emotionally responding and looking for comfort and healing in your experiences, um, you'll find it, because you created the right structure around the right mindsets, which will lead to you having the right experiences, or the experiences that are right for you personally, that are in line with what you're trying to do in your mission in life. So when you're feeling vulnerable about these things, you know, it's fine. It's like a level of sensitivity, you know, both the ninth house being Sagittarius and Cancer, Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. So there's a real Jupiterian vibe where you can really, the sensitivity will really let you dive deep into your experiences, into your spirituality, you know, and really be vulnerable within those experiences. Or you can be dry about your surroundings, and it can lead to you not having the right experiences. So when you emotionally respond to your experiences, you know, um, you feel uncomfortable, or maybe you're in like a box of experiences that make you feel uncomfortable. You're not even as expansive as you feel like you could, but you expanded a whole lot into a smaller area, if you get what I mean. That's how it can play out negatively. What about the 10th house having the full moon going
So
here?
you guys have to emotionally connect and nurture your business status or your public image. I bet in the full moon, if you guys planted the right seed here, you guys gonna feel confident with reflecting emotionally on your business status, because you guys planted the right seeds when it comes to your fourth house. You guys actually added the right practical structures to your home, family, domestic issues, and your private life, which allowed you guys to actually develop a healthy home life, which actually propel you in business status, and that actually allow you to exert more emotion in your business status, which make you even stand out. The other people who are maybe very dry, people who might not know how to add emotions and feelings and connect to people, which is very important if you want to get to the higher world. So,
Mm-hmm.
but on the negative side, if you didn't plant the right seed, adding the right steps to your home, family, like really take care of home, knowing not to basically waste too much energy at home, you can experience a lot of moodiness around business status because things are not put together. The moon is debilitated here, so you're gonna be highly sensitive over your lack of, but your lack of comes from like your seeds in your fourth house.
Mm-hmm. I see a lot of tiredness, like your work, rest, a balance is off. Yo, dead ass, dead ass. But yeah, this is kind of like what we were talking about before with the businessman and with the Japanese businessman and drinking the sake to open the vulnerability to make the business deal. So vulnerability, just like what Harith was saying, this is where you team up, where Capricorn can team up when you add a little bit more emotion, when you care about your responsibilities, it gets done. It gets done, and there's no thoughts about it. That you can really start magnifying this energy. So the potential for the energy that you can drum up with this full moon can be very positive and beneficial, but it's a very tough challenge to
It's
um,
hard. It's hard to
encounter.
give a fuck at work. Ask anybody, especially regular,
It's so hard.
especially regular workers. The only person who truly give a fuck about the company is the boss, the owner. That's it.
hmm That's it. And but look, if you have been taking control of your home life and your private life and what you do behind closed doors and bringing structure to these areas, you can even go to work, and it's okay to care about work, or you find it easier to care about work because at least you set up a structure that is going to get you out of the situation, and you care for the structure that is because it's leading you, it's leading you to save up money, maybe you're going to get out of it, or you added enough structure to the point where what you do for a living, you can care about it. You added the structure and discipline, to your private life. You wake up earlier, or you brought more structure to certain home lives. There's more practicality in how you operate in your home life and how you reflect. So, when it goes into business, there's not a lot of emotional outbursts that get in the way, and you can be vulnerable at work, and you can care about work, without work doing you bad and stuff like that, because you did your morning meditations, or because you took care of yourself and you brought structure around that, and you stay true to it. But yeah, it's definitely a hard alignment to get along, to bring balance into these areas. How to be vulnerable at work. Nobody gives, like Harris said, nobody wants to be
And if you
in that state of
and if
being.
you try to be vulnerable and give a fuck, guess what people do? Laugh at you. That's the most fucked up part.
Yeah, and then you get used. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Worst case, you even get promoted to a manager to have way more responsibilities for only 50 cents more or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they get you like
Bro,
that.
this is why the Capricorn, the 10 house, the like the devil card or the tower card, yo. That
And it's the
responsibility
motherfuckers in the chains.
responsibility comes with some fucked up stuff, yo.
Very true. Very true. So yeah, that's how it's hitting the 10th house. What about the 11th house? How's the full moon hitting here?
So he gonna experience this emotional release. So he's gonna reflect and try to nurture and connect with you guys groups, friends, the people you guys wanna progress maybe reality with. But how moody you get here and the people making you react is the people you're gonna react with your emotion here is gonna be dependent whether you planted the right seed or not when it comes to your fifth house. So these people basically, if
Mm-hmm.
do not align with your creativity, self-expression, and things like that, but things like that, you will basically get highly emotionally reactive towards these people and not want to be around because they're preventing you from focusing on your self creativity and actually building a business and a status on top of that. But if you actually planted the right seed, you actually find the right associate, the right groups of people who are actually help you maybe propel that business you've been building around your self creativity for a while and things like that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's like like a 11th house in your Aquarius and like your social life and your network. Those aren't necessarily people that you will die for, but it's people that you can work with, that you associate with. So it's harder to do those type of things. But when you associate with people that you can die for, shit really gets done and things really get pushed forward to the future. So that potential is there for you. But if you're planting the right seeds and with the new moon, that opportunity will be there because there'll be more structure in how you express yourself, creatively express yourself and shine your light, your hobbies, how you have fun. There's more practicality and direction towards how you shine your individual light. So there won't be that uncomfortability when it's received with when you're starting to be emotionally vulnerable in your social life because your personal self-expression has structure and practicality to it. You can bring structure to the stage. This is you being an artist, a performer, and stuff like that, and the whole stage is decked out. You have the whole stage set and it's all 3D, and everything. The structure's all there. Everybody was on time. The lights came on at 10 o'clock exact. Everything came on at the right time, to execute the performance. And you gave enough attention and discipline and construction to notice and put that structure in place for your creative expression, for the show to play out in that way. Then you'll realize that you can, when you move like that, you can add that level of vulnerability to your social life because there's so much structure and practicality to how you express yourself. How could they not see it? But yeah, that's the 11th house. How do you think this will hit the 12th house, the full moon here?
So you guys can experience this emotional release to nurture and really take care of your guys' belief system, your subconscious mind, your dreams and illusions. But that's gonna highly depend if you guys planted the right seed. When it comes to your sixth house. When it comes to your work routines, pattern. What do you guys how you guys want to service the world? Did you guys actually build the right structures around these things? Take the right capitalistic approaches instead of getting taken advantage of at work and things like that. So in this full moon in your 12th house, you guys gonna see where you guys are maybe vulnerable and really see how maybe you guys could fix these things together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the new moon, um, if you weren't in the state of being worried about your daily routine, worried about having control over your daily routine, and instead you implemented the discipline to uphold a certain habit, daily structure routine, so that you can be of service or practical to something within your life, then um, yeah, if you're putting the discipline into constructing your daily routine and your habits within that sense. How you emotionally respond to your 12th house, your dreams and illusions, is going to be uncomfortable. When you're on the mission, when you're doing the things to fulfill your dream, when you emotionally respond, you can be vulnerable and sensitive to your dreams. You're doing everything you can to make them fulfilled and come true. But when you don't, and all you've been doing is worrying, when you feel that emotional reflection, it's going to be uncomfortable when you start thinking about your dreams and illusions. And there may be foreign influences that really drag you into a deeper place, or they drag you into la la land, and that worrying, either makes you withdraw from reality or be real negative about reality and come up with false negative belief systems about how you can feel about yourself. And that's all external things coming and clouding up the mess because you didn't focus and bring discipline on your daily routine, structures, and habits since the new moon. For sure. So yeah, that's all 12 houses this full moon's hitting in. Um, Hope that helps you guys out. Really stay safe this full moon. Embrace the vulnerability. It's only going to bring more structure into your life. And if not, it's going to show you where your structure was already weak and where you can go and fix and heal it and make it stronger. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Truspace _. Check out our website, truspace.biz. And we'll catch you guys on the next video.
Take care, guys.